Well, tonight the Senate has reached a deal on a coronavirus relief plan. The question now is, when will Americans actually see any help? CBN News Capitol Hill correspondent Abigail Robertson joins us with the story. Abigail, it looks like a lot of Americans will see some money. Do we know how much?
That's right, Jenna. In this bill, taxpayers with incomes up to $75,000 a year are expected to see checks of $1,200 and an additional $500 per child in their families. There's also $350 billion designated for small businesses to help them stay afloat and retain their employees throughout this pandemic. There's $150 billion for state and local governments, $130 billion for hospitals to be able to get additional supplies that they need, $500 billion for corporations, and 4 months of unemployment insurance, as well as other things. This is a massive, unprecedented stimulus bill, but lawmakers are trying to do anything they can to get Americans much needed relief in this crisis.
Yeah, you know, Abby, in the debate process, we saw senators really get into it. There was a ton of passion, a lot of fire. How did both sides finally reach this agreement?
Well, it was not easy, but late or early this morning, I believe around 2:30 in the morning, negotiators from the White House, from Senate Democratic leadership, from Senate Republican leadership, finally came to an agreement on a compromise bill, different terms that they want to see. They're still finishing the draft of that legislation, but they believe they've come up with a bill that will have strong support in the Senate, that will be able to clear the House and be signed by President Trump, because they want to get this done at lightning speed for the Senate. And here's a look at what Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had to say on the Senate floor this morning about this legislation.
The Senate is going to stand together, act together, and pass this historic relief package today. Struggling Americans are going to go to their mailboxes and find four-figure checks to help with their bills. Why? Because the Senate stepped up.
And as McConnell, he said this bill is not perfect, but as I mentioned before, the Senate has truly worked at unprecedented lightning speed to draft this legislation and are hoping to get it passed as soon as possible.
Hey, Abigail, what criticisms have there been for the bill inside the Senate?
Well, this afternoon, we heard some Republican senators raise a red flag that there possibly is a provision or they said a drafting error in this bill that would cause some employees, more incentive to go on unemployment benefits, and it would give them more money on unemployment than they were making while they're actually working. Now, they say that this incentivizes companies to lay people off or people just to quit their jobs, and incentivizes some workers to remain unemployed. So they're asking for a fix to the bill to cap the unemployment benefits at 100% of an individual's income. Now, since the senators have raised this issue, I'm hearing some reports that it was actually intentional because of technical issues and complications with states not having systems in place to be able to track what people's incomes are. So we'll see how this ends up playing out, but all senators that are raising these alarm bells have made it clear that they support this legislation. They want to see it passed, but they also want to make sure that they're not incentivizing people to be on unemployment.